As we mentioned, you won 2 rings with Joe Montana.
I did.
How would you compare Montana and Brady?
You know what? I don't think you can really compare them. Two different eras. One guy utilized the system, as in he had to have the guys around him. Bill Walsh orchestrated that, called those plays. The other guy started out a little more in a conventional offense, as in Brady. I played against Brady, so I understand how those younger Patriot teams, how they ran their offense. But then it changed to where it was about Brady. Let's spread them out. Randy Moss came into town, and let's throw it 40 times a game. Joe Montana could not do that. And Brady could not have done what Joe Montana did, because Joe Montana had legs and could run, and they rolled him out a lot. They moved him a lot. That's what Bill Walsh did with him. So, two different guys. But where they're similar is when they walk out on the field and you know they're on, you win. And that confidence, Shannon and I know. We played with a guy, John Elway, same thing.
Exactly.
When John was on, we won. And when Joe was on, we won. Tom is pretty much 98%. He's on, they win.
What was Joe like behind the scenes, behind locker room doors?
He was a regular guy. As in, John Elway. He's a regular guy.
I don't get that sense of Elway like I do.
Well, we had a little hoops, little poppy shot.
Yeah.
And Romo every day he's going to challenge you. Put a little money down, $5.
Elway's going to challenge you.
Competitive.
Challenge anybody? All comers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So we getting ready to go because, we get per diem on Saturday. We getting ready to leave. You see 5, 10, 20 per diems. We're shooting. We're trying to get everybody. Elway, I'm like, Elway, you got all this money, but, hey, you say it's open competition, I'm trying to win. He was just a normal guy, but when you touch the field, he was very demanding. People think, playing with John Elway or playing with a Montana or Tom Brady is easy. It's not, because they demand so much out of you, because they demand so much out of themselves. You know that it's not an 8 to 5 for them. They're getting film. They're watching 2, 3, 4 hours of film at home. So when it gets to a down and distance in an area of the field, they expect you to remember that you practiced this and you've gone over this. So they don't want to hear my bad, especially now. My bad gets you sent home. My bad causes you to lose Super Bowls. So there are no more my bads.
Another thing about Joe Montana that people don't realize, basketball player could dunk with ease. People don't realize.
No.
You think Tom Brady could dunk a basketball?
No. He couldn't run very fast either.
Doesn't have to. He got
me,
an arm.
from a distance, and just being in interview groups, Elway had public persona to him. I just looked at him, and even in interviews, he carried himself like a superstar, like a top pick in the draft. This guy, Joe Montana, not so much. He had little to no public persona. Nothing to say in interviews. He seemed almost boringly normal. And yet the ultimate split personality quarterback was Joe Montana, because he played with such flavor. Like his game had real sort of feel to it, and he could be spectacular because he could run it. He was a ballet dancer in the pocket and a sweet thrower of the football. And it was exciting. It was scintillating, in part because of the offense he was running. But the public, the performing Joe on the field was so different than the guy off the field. Maybe you saw something in the locker room, but I was around him some, even sort of off camera, off the field. He was pretty boring. I mean, he was just a guy. Right?
Joe and I would always tell jokes. And
Well, that's something.
every time I got to the light, it seemed like every Wednesday, I'd come in, I'd walk over to his locker, and I always had a lot of jokes. He always had a lot of jokes. And he says, I got a good one for you.
Oh.
And I still remember them. I can't
Yeah.
say any of them
All right.
now, but that's one thing we always did. And we just always told jokes. And it was every week, oh, I got a good one today. Oh, he'd have a good one.
And we're all in the weight room. Romo was into the weight room, but John was a big lifter. People don't realize that John could power clean 330. He could bench, 315 pounds. So he was in there while we was working.
Squat 400.
Yeah. He was as normal as a superstar can be, because he would sit down, carry on a conversation, whatever we were doing. If we were playing cards, he played cards. We rolling dice. John, we rolled in training camp. We had the room called Club Shay Shay. You know, because nobody wanted to be on the 8th floor. Nobody wanted to be close to that because we're up till 3, 4 in the morning, getting up.
You?
Oh yeah.
I thought you went to bed early.
But Club Shay Shay, I had to make sure Club Shay Shay was going off right. But John was right in there with us. And this is why when you get a guy, he's the hardest worker. He sets the tempo. He sets the tone because you know what he's doing. So it's so easy for everybody else to fall in line. The reason why Coach Belichick has such great success is because Tom Brady is his hardest worker. Everybody will fall in line with Tom Brady. Tom Brady is also willing to play for less money. So guess what? Coach Belichick says, this is the guy that should be the highest paid player in all of football. He's not playing, he's not getting what he's worth. You actually think I'm going to pay you this? And so guys are accepting of their roles.
They are.
They're accepting of the Patriot way. If you notice, he really doesn't get guys on the offensive side of the football, receivers, that it's going to be about them. Because normally when a guy has a 1,000-yard season, what do you want next, Skip? 1,200, 1,500. He catch 80, he want 90. Not Coach Belichick.
When you have your top player, your best player, buying in, there's a belief factor. Everybody else has to follow. If your quarterback is not bought in, then the rest of the guys are not going to buy in. Well, those two guys had to buy in. Elway, buy in. We were all buying in. And if you weren't part of that group, then you weren't there long.
It's simple. It's not really that complicated.
Yeah.
You see what he's doing, you know nothing less will be accepted from you.
Well, how about the, I got to tell this one. So, Bubby Brister and John, they were close.
Yeah.
They were playing pool at John's house. Bubby Brister beats him on a Sunday night. Monday morning, John sold his pool table because he had never been beat on it. Sold it.
Competitive.
Competitive.
Did he want to get a little piece of Bubby after that? Get even with him?
Skip, you don't realize how we used to play in training camp. We used to play a TV game called Jeopardy, but it was, through the PlayStation. Skip, I would beat him. So I could ring in quick, I knew the answer. So he get what he would ring, he didn't know it. He's like, tell me. I was like, I'm not telling you. It's like, well, you're not getting any passes tomorrow. Okay, I'll tell you. Oh, man. Those were the times that.
We got to leave there.